Good evening, everybody. Today, I want to talk about the chanting that we had. Normally, we do the Dhamma-niyāma-Sutta, the turning the wheels of Dharma. We have done it, okay, like every time. And then we had another sutta. This is in the page. I will tell. Not in the page, in the bracket, number 50. This is called Dhamma-niyāma. Okay, page, it's a bracket, number 50. It's called Dhamma-niyāma. The meaning of the Dhamma-niyāma, it's the order line of the Dharma. The way that the Dharma is built. The way that the nature, in this case, Dharma, it's all the nature. The way that all the rules or the characters, the characteristics of all the Dharma and all what exists in the nature. And this is in the occasion that the Buddha was in the monastery, or that's Anathapindika in Savatthi, north of India. The millionaire Anathapindika and mentioned about this monastery that he offered to the Buddha. So one time the Buddha stayed there and he introduced the monk. He called the monk and he gave them like a Dharma talk. He said to them like this, he's starting, Upadava bhikkhave tatagatanam. Anupadawa tatagatanam. What he said to them actually? He called himself Tathagata. And the Tathagata is that many times the Buddha uses this I would say title to mention about himself. What he said that it doesn't matter if the Buddha is raising up to the word or otherwise the Buddha is not raising up to the word. It doesn't matter if the Buddha come to the word, he born, he come to be Buddha, or either the Buddha is not exist in the world. There is three characteristics of nature that they are all the time exist. Anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Okay? And you see that the word here, it's very interesting. The Buddha used the word upada. Upada, it's the same like utaya. Huh? Utaya, you remember when we practice the Vipassana Dhyana, we're coming into Utaya, and soon I will explain you more about these things. And then they say Upadawa bhikkhave tathagatanam. Like I said, the Buddha is using the word Tathagata. He mentioned his name as Tathagata, and the meaning of the word Tathagata is actually there is different definition, or you can translate it in different way. One way, tata it means thus, in this way. Okay, this is the meaning of the word tata. In this way. And then you can put tata together with gata. So you get tata gata. But you also can do tata plus agata. And agata, it's get opposite meaning. What is the meaning of gata? Gata, it means gone. Okay? It means if we make tata gata, we get the one that go like this, in this way. It means he go like this to nirvana by 37/8 of enlightened, 10 parami, okay, perfections, the precept that he keep, all these quality. In this way, he go to enlightened, okay, to nirvana. If we make tata with agata, it means in this way he come. In this way he became a Buddha, okay. He became like all the other Buddha. Like he developed the 10 perfections and all the other, actually the 10 perfections, you have 3 levels. You have parami, you have upaparami, and you have paramata parami. You have 3 levels. Okay, for example, dana, I say dana balami, it means perfections of giving. You can give material, you can give things, okay? You can give food, you can give equipment. You have upaparami, it's to give part of your body, okay? Part of your body. And Paramata parami, it means in the case of dana, it's to give your life. Okay, so if you to give your life for someone, for example, the Buddha in the past life, he gave his life to the tiger, so he can save the tiger. So it's mean that in this way that the Buddha developed like all the other Buddhas, in this way he came as a Buddha. Okay, so and you have actually 5 definitions to the word Tathagata. One of them is it's mean why the Buddha used the word Tathagata about himself. Because I'm touching this, I explain you anyway. It's not so much connect to the sutta itself, but it's good for you to know. Okay, one meaning is that Tathagata, it means the Buddha is enlightened fully about the word, about is the origin of the word, about the cessation of the word, about all what exists, the way to stop it. Okay, you know all these things. This is one meaning of Tathagata. Another meaning, or everything that in the world, for example, everything that you can see, hear, smell, taste, he can understand. He know about this. He's awaking about it. He understand it. The third meaning, from the time when he get enlightened, in the moment that he get enlightened, till he die totally, everything that he say, it's exactly like das, okay? It's exactly like it was correct, because you have to understand, normally we say about right speech, okay? We talk about right speech, don't tell lie and this, but enlightened people, it's not relevant about telling lies. What happened to enlightened people, that whatever, it's the same like the wind is going together with the wave of the sea. There is nothing that the wind cannot move together with the wind. It's the same that enlightened person, whatever he speak, if he say something, it must be correct exactly to the nature. He cannot say it's not about telling lie or not telling lie. What is ever author from his speech is exactly like the nature that exists. Okay? So this is another meaning. It's something like whatever he speak is just so. And another meaning of the Tathagata his actions is exactly like his speech. Whatever he will promise or we will say that he's doing, he will do it. Okay, and his speech is exactly what his actions. If he says something, he will not skip it or whatever. Okay, he cannot tell something that he don't will do, or he will not do something that he don't say. I mean, if he will say, when he speak, it will go together. And the last meaning of Tathagata is the vanquish, is the winner, okay? Is the universe here, is the winning of the world, okay? So this is another meaning. So this is why the Buddha used to himself about Tathagata. For example, there is one story about one person that he was walking behind the Buddha, and he suddenly saw the steps of the Buddha, the footsteps of the Buddha. And he didn't understand what he saw actually. So he came close to the Buddha and asked him, what you are? You are angels? You are God? What is these steps? I don't understand what I see on the floor. And the Buddha said to him, are you human being? He asked him. Are you angels? Are you God? What is this exactly, the steps? So the Buddha answered him, I'm a Buddha. Okay? So something like special things by itself. And then the Buddha said to the monks, it doesn't matter if the Buddha came to the world or the Buddha don't come to the world. All day he used the word sape sankhara. Oh, what is the meaning here in sankhara? Sankhara, it means all the conditions things. Because in the world, things, condition things. For example, the timer is conditioned by something. I am conditioned by something. The weather is conditioned by something. Okay, the tea is conditioned by something. The book is conditioned by something. Also, the word Sankhara, according to the scriptures, you have 3 definitions to the word Sankhara. so you don't get confused. One is when we talk about the dependent origination. The meaning of Sankhara, it's the conditions in the mind, which is bad things create. It's called avijja. Avijja pachaya Sankhara. It means the ignorant creates Sankhara. It means the greed, anger, and delusion in the mind. This is the meaning of Sankhara in the case of the paticca samuppada, the dependent origination. Another way, it's the 5 aggregate. If we then describe about the human being, it's body, feeling, memory, Sankhara. In this case, Sankhara, it's all the volition in the mind, the good and the bad, anger, greed, loving kindness, compassion, all the volition, all the things that motivate us. Okay? And like I said, it's just complete. We have consciousness. It's the last things of this 5 aggregate. And in this case, this is another meaning. Sankhara, it's all the conditional things in the world. The computer is also Sankhara. The thinking is a Sankhara. Anger is a Sankhara. War is a Sankhara. It means everything that depends on something else, it's a Sankhara. Now you see why the Buddha say, what the Buddha says is that all conditions things, they are anicca. It doesn't matter if the Buddha came to the world. You see, again, I say, use the word upada. Upada, it means like utaya. It's raising up, coming to the world. Okay? Or either the Buddha is not raising up the world, because there is sometimes in the time, after the Buddha died, there is period of time, there is no Buddhism. But still, all conditions things continue to be as a nature things in the world, anicca. Now I want to talk about the anicca. You see, normally when we're practicing the 16 jhana, what we are doing, we are practicing every time different jhana in this. But there is a relationship, actually, when we are developing the mind and cleaning the mind, we're learning more and more deep about these 3 characteristics, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. The first time that we see anicca, dukkha, anatta is the 3rd jhana. It's called samasana jhana. And how we call to these 3 characteristics, anicca, dukkha, anatta, impermanent, suffering, non-self, tilakkhana. Okay? This is the 3rd jhana already. We are meeting that tilakkhana. The people, for example, they are walking, maybe they are, or maybe they make turning, touching. Oh, they speak wrongly. So they see the memory. They cannot control it. Okay? They get confused. Oh, they are not happy. Why I get confused when I make mindful prostration? I'm speaking foolish things. They are not happy about this. They see dukkha. Okay? But it's not happen all the time. They see anatta, anicca. So they see anicca, dukkha, anatta. They are walking, they're losing balance. They are not happy. Why I'm losing balance? Oh, why I cannot walk so nice? It's not happen to them all the time. They see anicca. They don't happy about it. Okay, they see dukkha. They cannot control the walk. They see anatta. Okay, so thinking, many thinking coming. They see anicca. They cannot control the thinking. It's anatta. Okay, and then they don't like it. They want control. They want to be very nice, sitting, relaxing. They see anatta. Now, if we talk about anicca itself, it's coming on the. We have two ways to look at anicca. One way, it's what we call Uttaya Paya Jnana. You see that what happened that when we're practicing the 16 jhanas, we go through the anicca, dukkha, anatta also. Okay? Normally when people are practicing, sometimes they don't talk about the 16 jhana. They're talking only about these 3 characteristics. Because these 3 characteristics, when people understand them more and more deep, at the end they will go into sotapanna. Some, they go into sotapanna by anicca, by understanding the anicca, insight. Some they understand by dukkha, and some they understand by anatta. And this is how they break through into the sotapanna. Okay? And if we talk about the anicca, because this is the first sentence that the Buddha is speaking to the monk, he said, it doesn't matter if the Tathagata raise up to the world, or not raise up the bird, all how to say, dependent things, they are anicca. The Buddha actually, he understand them. The Buddha actually realized them. He find them. This is what the Buddha explaining here. The Buddha explaining them. The Buddha getting enlightened through understanding it. But it doesn't matter if it exists or not exist, everything is anicca. And like I said, according to anicca, you have two perspectives to the anicca. One of them is the Uttaya-payayana. For example, if you are doing turning, we ask the people, is turning is just one movement or it's many small movements? Okay, it's mean rising, ceasing, rising, ceasing, rising, ceasing. Okay, when you do rising of the stomach, is rising of the stomach is just one movement or there's beginning, middle, end? It means rising, preparing, ceasing, happening, stop. Okay, when you walking, you start to walk, beep, you lose balance. Happening, stop. The Buddha said that all nature things is rising and ceasing, rising, ceasing. Like if we draw the line, is this line is just one line on the paper. For example, I draw a line. This is just one line or many points. So the people, they can understand that line is many points actually. And if we go by microscope to 1 point, 1 point itself is a beginning, middle, end. When we look at the light, normally light is just one light. When many people understand, Uttaya-payayana, they understand that actually this light is many photons, is many blinking, so fast, coming one after the others. So in the same way, when you are practicing, suddenly you see so many thinking, coming, going. You have to stop, acknowledge. Or either you have pain. So the pain is in one place and suddenly moving, became bigger, smaller, changing all the time. In this way, you recognize one perspective to the anicca. It means everything rising and ceasing, rising and ceasing, rising and ceasing. The Buddha said that if someone understands Uttaya-payayana insight, is Sotapan. He will be Sotapan. And I give you example. There is one story about the most clever monk of the Buddha. His name Sariputta. I think most of you know. Sariputta, actually, he was very clever person. And before he met the Buddha, he looks for a teacher. He looked for someone that can teach him. And one day he was walking in his city and suddenly he saw Asaji. Asaji was the youngest from the 5 first enlightened monk, the students of the Buddha. After the Buddha get enlightened, he meet the 5 friends, he teach them, they became a monk. So the youngest from them, his name was Asaji. Asaji actually this considered to be something like 4 months after the Buddha teach them first time, they get enlightened, 5 of them. Okay, about 5 months, a month, something like this, around, okay? And Sariputta saw Asaji, and he immediately knew that this monk must be developed. Actually, he don't know that he's enlightened, okay? And Asaji was young in the age and also young in the monkhood, but he was enlightened. So Sariputta immediately knew that this monk must be developed. So he treated him like a teacher. When Asaji came to eat, Sariputta immediately arranged for him a place to sit, because Asaji was making brindabad, collecting food on the street. So immediately Sariputta joined with them, arranged the place where Sariputta can sit. Wash the legs before Asaji want to go to eat. And after Asaji finished eating, he asked the Sariputta, ask Asaji, Venerable Sir, you look to me very developed. Who is your teacher? What is the method of your teacher? So Asaji don't want to debate. He don't want to argue, and also he's a young monk. So honestly, you see how much humble. Actually, he was enlightened, but so much humble. So he said to Sariputta, "I'm sorry. I'm young monk. I don't know to explain you." So because Sariputta was the most clever monk from all the students of the Buddha, later on he was very clever at the time. He said to Asaji, your duty to say what you think. My duty is to understand. So Asaji told them that my teacher is the great Buddha. And the method of my teacher is that the Buddha teach that all the things raising up, the Buddha explained the reason when they're raising up, and also when they're ceasing, he explained the reason for this. Actually, what he explained them is Utayapayana. And in this moment, when Sariputta just understood it, immediately on the spot became Sotapan. That's why the Buddha said that if someone understands it inside, he's a Sotapan. He became Sotapan. Okay? So that's why after this, immediately Sariputta asked Asaji, where is our teacher? Okay? And later on, he took his friend Mahamoggallana and they go together to the Buddha. They became the right and left attendant of the Buddha. So this is one perspective of the anicca. Now, I said, this is the fourth yana when we're practicing the vipassana, okay? According to the basic course, okay? But this is the first yana for the vipassana. Okay? And the second, on the fifth yana, it's the Bhanga-yana. When you practice the vipassana, this is the second yana that you practice in the vipassana retreat. And then, what is Bhanga? Bhanga, it shows you that everything stops. Everything ceases. Nothing will stay forever. This is another perspective of the anicca. It means if we said that the line have many, many points, okay, the line have to finish. We are walking around the forest or whatever, making a walk in the nature. So many things. If people, they understand Utayapayana, they understand why it's important to be present moment. Every moment is a present. Must be present moment. Then you can realize in the present moment, whatever, moment by moment, moment by moment. This is another quality of understanding the Utayapayana. But if we say that everything is built by many, many things, but everything also have to stop. The travel in the forest have to finish. Human being experience many things. I'm not talking about one day, but also one day have to finish. The life of human being have to finish. We are people meeting. We have so many things together, even short time, even long time. But then we have to separate. That's why when we meet, we have to meet good way. When we walk together, we have to walk in the good way. When we separation, we have to also to separate in the good way, because everything have to stop, cease. But then we have the possibility to meet again in a good way. Also attachment. Normally we have attachment. We attach to people. But when we understand Bhanga-yana, we're learning that everybody have to die. So we treat them by loving kindness and not by attachment, by pia. Okay, attachment, it's called pia. I like my child, I don't want to lose my child. So all the time I worry. But when you are understanding it, then you don't worry. You just love the partner or whoever it will be, even your car, even your house, even whatever you have, animals. You love them with metta and not by pia. Now you see what is leading, okay? So soon you see how it's connected to the next things what the Buddha teach. So the first sentence the Buddha say, it's anicca. We say anicca, we have two perspectives. For example, if we practice the vipassana, sometimes we're sitting, we're drifting away to show you, everything finished. Sometimes impatient. When it's going to finish? Why never finish? Sometimes your legs fall asleep. Suddenly you remember in the past, even childhood, maybe you remember separation from people. So all these things by experience of the Vipassana, you can see this anicca. So when the Buddha talk about anicca, if we talk about anicca, there is two perspectives, the Utayapayana and the Bangayana. Now the Buddha continue. He say to the next step, he said, it doesn't matter if the Buddha raised up to the world or not raised up to the world. All the conditional things in the world, they are dukkha. They can create dukkha. Okay? Now you see, before we touch about the idea, we say that because I understand that everything is stopping, ceasing, then I start to worry. What will be with? What will be with my car? I don't want to lose my car. Oh, I don't want to die. I don't. And then immediately after Bangayana, which yana appear to us? Payayana, knowledge of the worry. Why? Because we don't want to lose things. So then when you practice Vipassana, I say that actually, if we don't judge about the yanas themselves, you all the time experience anicca, dukkha, anatta, anicca, dukkha, anatta, and how much you practice more, you understand it more inside, and by this, you can cross over suffering. Okay, the Buddha himself say that by understanding dukkha, it doesn't matter if the Buddha exists or not exists, the Buddha just understand it. The Buddha experience it. The Buddha get enlightened through understanding it. The Buddha teach it. He explain it. Okay? He expose it to the world. Okay? Now, if we talk about dukkha, if we talk about the practice itself from the 16 yana, dukkha you start to understand from payayana, Atinawayana, Nibidayana, Munchitu, and Patisankayana. Different kind of experience from perspective of dukkha. And this dukkha came to you because of three reasons. That's why if we investigate about dukkha, we have three kinds of dukkha. One dukkha called dukkha dukkata. This is the dukkha or suffering that coming because not to get what you want and to get what you don't want. I want to have a child, boy, and I have a girl. I want to have a girl and I have a boy. I want to have a child, but I cannot get pregnant. Okay? I don't want to have child, and then the child coming. So immediately birth is suffering. And then maybe the wife immediately sickness, okay? Or problem with this or that. We getting aging. We don't like to be old, okay? And then we don't like to die. We want, like I said, everything, all this dukkha, most of the dukkha is coming from this kind of, it's called dukkha dukkata. It means suffering exists because you get what you don't want, or you get what you don't get what you want. Okay, it's called apiye sampayo poduko, piye vipayo poduko. The Buddha explained it. He say in the today also we chanted in the Dhamma-chakra. The Buddha say, what is suffering? He said birth is suffering, aging suffering, dying is suffering. Not to get what you want is suffering, to get what you don't want is suffering. Apiye sampayo poduko, piye vipayo poduko. This is one reason of suffering. Another reason of suffering, it's the suffering coming because everything changing. It's called viparinama dukkha. Viparinama dukkha, it's like we said, everything is anicca. Because everything is anicca, also the good things they are bringing suffering. You know, in the army, usually in Israel, there is the commander, because in the weekend, the commander don't allow to punish the people, the soldiers. So the commander said to the soldiers, be careful every Saturday, there is end of suffer and Saturday. It means I will punish you after the weekend will finish. This is, people going to holiday, they can complain, why we have so good holiday? Why you say that everything in the life is suffering? Because the holiday finishing, the weekend is finishing, good relationship finishing, good food is finishing, okay? Good side is finishing, whatever, it's everything. So that's why we cannot guarantee it forever. And that's why the suffering of fear coming after Bangayana, after actually it's the 60th after Bangayana coming Payayana. Huh? And then it means that we're starting to see the perspective of the dukkha. So this is the second thing of the reason of the dukkha. Like I said, the first one is because we don't get what you want and to get what you don't want. This is most of the suffering. Second is called viparinama dukkha. It means the dukkha that exists because everything finishing. So also the good things finishing. Health. Oh, the children, they say, I'm so healthy, I'm so strong, I don't care, I can do whatever I want. And then after this, they getting old, already many problems coming. Okay, maybe broken bones, or they're eating too much sugar, they have problem with the tooth, or other things that there's sickness coming because they don't take care for themselves. And then the third dukkha is Sankhara dukkha. It's because we have in our mind, we have anger, worry, doubt, lazy, craving. When they are coming into us, then we experience suffering. It means we experience suffering because in the mind, we have the Sankhara. Here, the Sankhara is different meaning. The Sankhara is the volition in the mind. Okay? Later, I will touch it more when we come to the Anatta. Okay? So we have in the mind volition, things that leading us, and because of them we behave, also good, also bad. But we have certain of them make us suffering. This is the greed, anger, delusion, worry, doubt, lazy, all these things. And when we experience them in ourselves, then suffering is followed. So if we talk about dukkha, we have three kinds, we say. One is because we don't get what we want and we get what we don't want. This is most of the dukkha. Second, because things is finishing. Third is because we have sankhara inside us, volition inside us, which is developing unhappy feeling inside us. Like I said, anger, jealousy, sadness, okay? So this is about the dukkha. And then the Buddha explained about these both things, that he used the word sape sankhara anicca, sape sankhara dukkha, okay? And he used the word of sankhara. It means all conditional things. And I say in this case, sankhara, it's everything that exists in the world beside one thing. Nirvana. Why? Because nirvana, it's no more suffering. So that's why the Buddha say, in the case of anatta, sape Dhamma anattati. Why? Because in the Dhamma, in the nature, there is some things which is not sankhara, which is not conditional by anything. Nothing can change it. In the moment that the person getting into nirvana, he cannot change it. Okay? So, because of this, he don't say nirvana is dukkha, but he also don't say that nirvana is anicca. Okay? But he said that nirvana is anatta, because actually nobody can get into nirvana. If you want, you can make hocus pocus, you will be enlightened. No. It means it's non-self. So that's why the Buddha say, sape dhamma anattati. It means all the dharma, it's anatta. Because in dharma, there is one more thing which is not sankhara. This is nirvana. Okay? And he used the word of anatta. He explaining the third characteristic, which is non-self. Now, if we connect to the yana, we talk about the yana, 16 yana we are practicing. Which yana you can see the anatta? This is actually the first two yana. The first yana called Nama Rupa Paricheta yana. This is the yana which people, we ask the people, when you make right goes thus, okay? Who knows that the legs is moving? Is the legs know it or in the mind you know it? So when people say, the mind know that the legs is moving. They see the difference between the physical and the mental. It means we are human beings, we have body, well, we also have mind. What we call mind is all the mental process. This is the feeling, liking, disliking, neutral. Actually, we don't know where is this liking, okay? I'm happy. I don't know where is the happy. It's something like mental inside me. Also, we have memory. I remember my dog. I don't know where is this dog. It's just memory, okay? It's mental things. Also, we have volition. This also we call Sankhara. This is the Sankhara, this is good and bad things that motivate us. Okay? So this we say Sankhara or volition. I want to eat. I don't like what my I don't know neighbor tell me. I get angry about them. Okay, or I worry because I don't know my friend didn't come yet or whatever. All these things, it's volition. And the last is consciousness. Okay, we have seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling. Okay, and thinking. Sometimes, where is my pen? I don't know where is my pen. I see my pen. It means that in this moment, my eyes consciousness come to be, come to exist, okay? Maybe someone calling me, I don't pay attention. Sorry, what you say? In this moment, my hearing consciousness come to be. So we have 5 consciousness, 6 consciousness because thinking. Sometimes I don't pay attention that I'm thinking. In the moment that I pay attention that I'm thinking, it means the mind consciousness exists, coming up, okay, in me. So we have these 5 aggregates, body and mind. So the first yana is called Nama. Nama is mind. And Rupa. Rupa is the body. It's all this body thing. So you see the Nama Rupa Paricheta, and you see the difference between Nama Rupa. And this is actually, you see anatta. This is the first yana that people, they can see anatta, that we are built by physical and mental. Second yana, it's called Pachayya Parikayana. Pachaya Parikayana. It means to see the relationship between the physical and mental. Sometimes we want and then we move. So we ask the people, where is the wanting? In the legs or in the mind? The people said, of course, in the mind. It means the mind was the cause for the body to move. But sometimes the body move or happen something, and only then the mind pay attention. It means there is a relationship between body and mind. Immediately on the first 2 yana, you can see anatta, non-self. Okay? You see what happened before. I was chanting, and maybe at least 2 times during the chanting, I forgot where I am. Where I didn't know if I have to chant now about the Sangha or I have to chant about. Lucky, Liora was behind me. She reminded me, no, you have to do about Dharma, about the Sangha and not about the Dhamma. You see, so what happened to people? Because we take it personally. This is my memory. So I can tell, what happened? I'm very bad teacher. I'm not good teacher. I forgot the chanting. And then maybe I don't happy about it. So people, they don't understand anicca, dukkha, anatta. They don't understand memory is just impermanent things. And it's not really belong to me. It's just memory coming and sometimes can be, so I'm not happy about it. So when people, they understand anicca, dukkha, anatta, by insight, they are learning slowly to let go. Why? Because when I see, for example, oh, this is my, I don't know, my tea, okay? I want to drink my tea. And the moment that I see, actually it's not my tea, it's my friend tea. Immediately I let go. Huh? For example, you see, you realize this is not mine, it's not belong to me. Immediately you letting go, releasing it. Or same things. Suppose you want to drink something and then you go, oh, so not nice. You see the dukkha, immediately you let go. You don't want to. And then maybe this was very nice warm tea. You come, ooh, it's cold already. It's changed. Immediately I let go. It means that by anicca, dukkha, anatta, you are what you are doing. Slowly, slowly, the tanha, the attachment, releasing. And that's why the Buddha said that we are suffering because of the attachment. And the way to stop suffering is by cutting, releasing nirodha, nirvana of the tanha. And how the releasing of the tanha coming? By understanding of anicca, dukkha, anatta. And the duty of Buddha here is not, God is not something that creating the world, but he understanding it, he teach it, he actually realized into enlightened by understand anicca, dukkha, anatta. And this is what he teaches us in the Eightfold Path of mindfulness. When we are mindful, when we look at nature, so slowly, slowly, the suffering releasing by this understanding. And you see, I show you how also this anicca, dukkha, anatta, actually some teachers, they don't teach dhyana. They just teach all the time. Oh, you see the pain, you see anicca, dukkha, anatta. Oh, you lose balance, you see anicca, dukkha, anatta. They don't talk about dhyana, but I show you a little bit how it's related to each other. When you are practicing the 16 jhana, and slowly, slowly you gain more insight through anicca, dukkha, anatta. Is anyone having questions? By the way, I just mention one more thing. It's about anatta. Anatta, we have at least 5. I can talk about 5 ways to explain anatta. One of them is that normally, if we talk about wrong perceptions about atta, how people perceive themselves as atta, so one perception is that, for example, we say that we have 5 aggregates. We are like 5 elements that reacting each other, okay? Affecting each other. One is affecting the other. One is it's a body, feeling, memory, perceptions, or not perception, sorry, volition and consciousness. And they are all the time affecting each other. They are influencing each other. And this is as a human being or as a creatures, we are continue like this. The tanha, the attachment is creating there. But people perceiving the atta, the self in, I can talk about, first I talk about the first 3 ways that Sotapan cutting. One is when someone refer to the, they ask, who you are. I'm the body, I'm the thinking. You know, some philosophers say that I'm thinking, that's why I'm alive. Okay? Something they refer the thinking and is mean it's I. Okay? The body is mean I. My memory, it's my I. Okay? I am actually this 5 aggregate is I. Every one of them, it's part of I. So if you talk about the I, it's these 5 elements. Every one of them, it's just part of the I. So this one perception for the I, for the self. Another perception is people ask, what is the end? The end belong to me. Same like the pen belong to me. The tea belong to me. Okay, the thinking belong to me. I'm not the thinking, but this is my thinking. It's belong to me, like a tool for me. Okay, equipment that I have. So this 5 aggregate is belonging to me. Another perceptions, I am in the end. Every cells have part of me. Okay, it means it's something like I'm like the body is a drawer that the mind is inside. Okay, the thinking is a drawer that the mind is inside. Okay, something like I am in the body, I am in the thinking. Something like the self is inside. You say every cell is feeding the I, exists I inside, okay? Or in my thinking, there is the I. And another way is that the body is in the I, in the self, okay? So something like the self is container. And the body is there, the thinking is there, something like this. But all of them is just wrong perceptions about the self, because the five aggregate, they're just conditional by themselves. Okay? Now, all these 4 ways to look at the I, it's something like there is the I, and the I have relationship with the 5 aggregate. And this I, it's connect to the conceit, the self of the conceit, the ego, okay? And this is only enlightened person will cut. The I that is inside me, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, okay? And this is only enlightened person will cut. This is the self that exists inside, okay? Like I said, the 4 ways, that the first 4 that I talk about, Sotapan will cut. He say he understands that it's just 5 aggregate, but still someone will be inside, okay? You know that body is just a body changing. It's not real, it's not belong to me. It's not I'm not this, but still I exist inside. And the I that exists inside, that what Sotapan think that they have some relationship to the I, this only Sotapan will cut. This is the ego, this is the conceit. This is in Pali we call mana. And the mana, it's only cutting by enlightened person. So this is about explanation about anicca, about two ways to look at about anicca, about the dukkha, 3 kinds of dukkha, and the anatta, different perspective of what we call atta. I hope you don't get confused with all this information. I said what I said, but whoever will understand, whatever understand from this, it's already good. I try to go more deep, not just to be shallow. Good. So thank you very much for all of you, and good night. And we pay respect for the Buddha one more time. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhan Bhagavantan Hapiwate Sawakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhamma-niyāma-Sutta Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sankho Sankhara Namāmi. Thank you. Good night.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.